Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, or if you're finding me for the first time, welcome. Please consider hitting the like button and subscribing if you like what I have to say, or even if you just want to discuss Avatar the Last Airbender on Netflix or anything. But welcome. Uh, there's a lot going on with Avatar the Last Airbender, as you probably know. Now, my take is not. My take might not be exactly what you expected me if you have seen more of my content. Um, Sokka is sexist, apparently. Now, I, I never really saw him as a sexist character. I saw him as a little bit of ignorant and a product of his upbringing in a place, the Southern Water Tribe, where there's not many men at the time because they're off at war and the women are taking care of house and home, and that's the society he knows. So, and then of course, playing with your sister and taking jabs at her, uh, that's just part of being brother and sister. So if you want to call that sexist, I guess go ahead. But we all know that anything that had to do with maybe sexist remarks from Sokka is only in the front. Unless, correct me if I'm wrong, it's mostly in the front of the Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's rectified pretty quickly when he's put in his place by Suki, and he realizes that maybe his worldview is not correct, and well, he grows up and he figures out that, well, maybe things aren't what I think they are, and he apologizes and even asks her to train her. And now, I know a lot of people have the comments made by the actor here, which is, let's see, what are the comments? I feel like we also took out the element of how sexist Sokka is. Now, I think this is misleading. I don't really think he's a big raging sexist. I never felt that way when we watched it. My daughter never felt that way. I've talked to other women about it. They never felt that way. He just is a kid who, it's like saying, hey, you throw a baseball like a girl. That's how he's sexist, right? And it happens a few times early in the series, but like I said, it's overcome really quickly. Now, them removing that, do I think that's okay? I don't think it's smart. So I'll say this: I don't think it's a smart thing to do because it helps show the development of Sokka and how he is ignorant to a lot of things because of him being sort of in a shelter growing up situation. So it's important for him to learn, overcome some of these things, and change the way he thinks about the world. It's pretty much his whole development throughout the series. Now, the sexism part is a small part of that, but I think it is important. So I think it's a bad I think it's just a bad choice to take it out. Now, do I think it's world ending to the show? I don't know that it's a red flag. Don't get me wrong. And it's got, get your hackles up, and it's like, what why are we doing that? Now, obviously, it's from social pressures from present time. They even say as much here, uh, but uh, so they caved to some social pressure. All the shows do it these days. Does that make it right? No. Do I think it's a mistake? Yes. I think they should just keep it in because it's resolved that quickly. Okay, and it shows that he can grow. Now, do I think, like I said, do I think it's the end all be all of the show? The show is now ruined. I don't think that's enough to just say the show is going to be completely woke garbage. Now, is it possible? Am I huffing some copium? That is possible. Yes, I could be sitting here on the 22nd going, guys, man, it's woke to the hilt, and wow, yeah, right. And most of you know who know me, I'll be the first one to tear it to pieces if it's terrible, woke garbage, and just makes no sense, and they've changed too much. Now, for me, now I feel, and I want to reiterate, there's a lot of things that happen with Sokka that have nothing to do with race or gender. That he thinks a certain way, and he is brought to task, and he is shown that he is wrong, and he figures out by actions and by learning that he is incorrect, and he changes the way he thinks. A lot of his growth in the series is about becoming a man and figuring out right from wrong and becoming an adult, right? I mean, he's just a kid playing it's being a soldier when we start, and when we end, he's basically, spoilers. When we end, he's a tactician and pretty much a blade master because he decided at a point it was time to stop being a kid and to grow up and make use of oneself. Also, the importance of Sokka is to show that you don't have to be a bender to make a difference. Uh, yes, does being a bender of some sort make you powerful? Sure. But just being a regular human being with drive and determination, you can make a difference as well. I think that's an important thing for Sokka. Now, if they take those away, obviously that's catastrophic, right? He has to learn, build, and be and just along with the rest of them. He's going on his own journey just as they are. It's a little different than them because it's not about bending, but he's going on his own journey at the same time. So the little bit at the beginning, taking that away, I mean, I guess we need to see how they change it. We don't even know how they're going to change it yet or how it's been changed, other than they're using buzzwords and calling Sokka sexist, which, again, red flag. So we're going to have to see what it looks like. Do I think it's enough to condemn the show for being woke trash? I'm not ready to say that yet until I watch the first episode or two. I think the trailer was good. It was far beyond what I was expecting. Now, just to give you guys an idea what I was expecting, way back when, now this is some garbage tier website, I get it, but way back when, I remember when this came out, this is about Avatar Netflix, The Last Airbender plot and character descriptions. Now, it was back in June 16th of 2021. I went over these, I think, on the channel. Now, this is where I thought we were going to be with Avatar The Last Airbender, okay? This is like, while there was skepticism at first, the creators Michael Dan, their name were back as showrunners, but that didn't last very long. The showrunners left the production two years later. So I know that spelt doom for everybody, and they thought, oh my God, they're gonna. But I want you guys to remember, those two also wrote The Legend of Korra, which I think destroys Avatar. Personally, you may be a Korra defender. You may like Korra. I think book one was fine. I think the rest of it was, woke garbage. So, just because they're not around is not why these things are being done. It's not like you got to remember they made Legend of Korra. But this is what I was expecting before we got the trailer. Okay, now we saw the castings. I thought the castings were pretty good, right? Actually, very good. But here, so the reimagining live-action series based on the award-winning novel, beloved Nickelodeon animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender, which follows the adventures of the protagonist Aang and his friends, who must save the world by defeating Fire Lord Ozai, the destructive war of the Fire Nation. Okay, so I'm just gonna read the Aang character description. This is what I was expecting. Now, again, I've gone over these character descriptions from Avatar Netflix. Aang. Male Asian lead character, 12. Male, East Asian, South Asian heritage. Aang is a typical 12-year-old boy, a bit goofy, a bit nerdy, restless in school, always eager to join his friends for the fun and games. He's nimble, energetic, and quick in the schoolyard. Adopted at birth, Aang has struggled with questions of how he fits in, but his loving parents have worked hard to make him feel accepted. Aang has grown up to become a generous, kind-hearted, and cheerful. Aang has also been gifted with an incredible mystical power. He doesn't really understand it, but he could be the key to saving the world from a global conflict. It's his responsibility he's reluctant to accept because it'll take him away from his family and friends and everything he knows. All he wants to do is be a regular kid. It'll be tough to cast the live-action... So do you see, like... That's what I was expecting. That sounds nothing like Avatar at all. So... when I got the trailer, I was actually quite pleased because, I think the trailer's pretty good. I do. We'll see what the show has to do. Some of the comments have you on the defensive. Now, I do have to say, while the sexist Sokka is a red flag, I think for me, there's something else that is much more concerning. Okay. Now this concerns me a lot more than removing a little bit of Sokka's storyline. We remove that. Netflix's Avatar the Last Airbender changes the original show's timeline. Oh, okay. So what this is basically, so I'm just going to read the summary. Netflix's live-action adaptation of Avatar has made a major timeline change, with the series no longer taking place over a year to account for the potential future seasons. The removal of Sozin's comet as a major plot point in the live-action series has significant ramifications. Despite the timeline change, the series will feature Sozin's comet as seen in the promotional footage, confirming that it will be established as a concept in the show. So what they're saying is Sozin's comet is going to be presented in the flashback, or maybe I don't know how they're going to present it, of Sozin taking out the Airbenders. So we're going to see Sozin's comet there. But they have now removed Sozin's comet because it's the clock. It's the ticking clock. So instead of extending that clock and saying, oh, Aang, you only have 3, 4, 5 years to train, and making some adjustments to how hard it is to learn, and changing some timeline elements for travel and all that stuff, it sounds like they've just removed Sozin's comet. Because they're afraid between seasons that the characters will grow up too much. So we've now removed a major plot device for the show, a major motivation for everything that goes on, because we're worried about the actors and actresses. So, as you know, I hate when shows write for the actors and actresses. I guess I can sort of understand, because you're working with children, but there are ways you can still include Sozin's comment by just extend the timeline. Say it's going to be there in 5 years, and that it takes decades to master. It'll take a decade to, like. There are things you can do, I feel, that can make up for the aging of the actors and actresses without moving Sozin's comet, the main plot device for the show, completely. Now, could they put it back in? Sure, I guess. But the whole reason for Aang's haste to learn the elements is because, well, they learn of Sozin's comet, and he needs to learn. He needs to get it done right quick, or he's not going to be prepared to take on the Fire Lord. So, I think this is a lot more troubling to me than this whole thing with Sokka being sexist. Now, Sokka also could have. Now, I just want you to take a minute, because I'm gathering my thoughts again, and to finish off, I want you to think about this with Sokka. Okay, they could have done it a lot worse. They could have done Sokka a lot worse. There's a few things that popped up into my head that really said, well, they could have done this. At least they didn't do that. So, number one, they could have just made him a raging sexist, and a guy that doesn't admit when he's wrong. They could just make him well, I don't care if you showed me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. Oof. You're just a girl. I don't care if you beat me. You're still just a girl. They could have had him be double down McGee and never admit he's wrong and never grow. That is something that they easily could have done with Sokka's character, and destroyed him even further. Okay? They also, well, here's the big one. They also could have removed all his love interests and just made him gay. They could have done that. Right? They, like, for everything that's going on in the world right now, there's no reason that they couldn't have just said, you know what, we feel like Sokka's a problem, we feel like he's a little too sexist, let's just make him gay and we can remove all of that. That's also something they could have done. So, in thinking about all of that, the fact that they've taken out a few lines so he doesn't sound sexist, even though I never felt like it was overtly bad. Now, maybe that makes me a sexist. I don't freaking know. There's a lot worse things they could have done to Sokka, and I think that this big change to the plot is a lot more troubling for me than just a little change to Sokka's story that can be made up in other ways to make him keep growing. So we'll see what happens. We won't know anything until the show drops. Agree with me, disagree with me. That's all good. I'm enjoying talking about Avatar with everybody. I am fully aware that I am huffing some copium and hopium here. For all rights and purposes, this could be just a complete disaster. I am completely aware of that. I don't want anybody to think that I'm going to this with my eyes closed. Uh, in all likelihood, this could be a disaster. But like I said, going from thinking Aang is going to school with his friends, with his adopted parents, to the trailer we got was a big step in the right direction and gave me a little bit of hope. I'm hopeful. I'm writing that hope out. Maybe I'm blinding myself. If I'm blinding myself, let me know in the comments. It's fully possible. But we'll take this ride together on the 22nd of February, and we'll see what we got. And check it out here, because I'm gonna be calling it as I see it. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully they stay somewhat to the script. But who knows at this point? It's gonna be hard to tell until we get there. So thank you for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe for more Avatar content. And thanks for checking me out. Until next time, have a great day. Oh, by the way, Appa is MVP of Team Avatar. Let me know what you think. Bye.